A long time ago, Snow White's porcelain skin was considered the epitome of beauty in the Elizabethan English court. Queen Elizabeth I herself was the embodiment of this ideal, with her ghostly, flawless complexion representing nobility and perfection. But to achieve this perfection, she covered her face in a makeup that was dangerously toxic. Queen Elizabeth's signature look involved layers of makeup made mostly from lead. She would rub mercury on her lips and probably used a mercury-based remover that harmed her skin. In today's video, we'll explore how these cosmetics might have contributed to her death. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the Invisible Historian channel and let us know which historical figure you'd like us to cover next. Now let's talk about the deadly beauty rituals of the Virgin Queen. In the 16th century, the ideal beauty standard for women was unnaturally pale, smooth skin. To achieve this, Elizabeth applied Venetian ceruse, a mixture of white lead and vinegar, on her face and neck. This gave her pocked skin a porcelain-like appearance, but it likely smelled sour like vinegar. Today, we know that repeatedly applying lead to the skin causes serious, often irreversible problems, including hair loss, skin damage, and eventually lead poisoning. And in the 16th century, lead poisoning wasn't just inconvenient, it was fatal. But lead wasn't the only toxic substance in Elizabeth's makeup. Let's take a look at the other poison in her beauty routine. Snow White's stepmother wished for lips as red as blood, and Queen Elizabeth's lip stain had a similar idea. Made from cinnabar, a mineral that contains mercury, her signature red lips were just as dangerous. Over time, both lead and mercury would slowly poison her through skin absorption. As the years passed, Elizabeth applied thicker and thicker layers of makeup, reportedly even an inch thick by the end of her life. Mercury poisoning can lead to memory loss, irritability, and depression, conditions that Elizabeth is said to have experienced in her later years. Back in Elizabeth's day, it was common not to remove makeup at the end of the day. Sound familiar, modern beauty routines? The Queen's makeup stayed on for days, and when it was finally removed, it was likely with a toxic concoction of eggshells, alum, and more mercury. While the remover might have made her skin feel soft, it was actually destroying it, one layer at a time.
When Elizabeth was a teenager, she didn't wear as much makeup, mainly because she hadn't had smallpox yet. On October 10, 1562, she contracted the disease and it left her with permanent scars. The scars were a huge source of embarrassment and a major reason she began using heavy makeup. She wasn't alone. Many women of the time covered up smallpox scars with toxic makeup, hoping to maintain their beauty standards. Elizabeth was acutely aware of the pressure on her to look perfect. In 1586, she spoke to Parliament about the heavy scrutiny she faced, saying, "We princes are set on stages, in the sight and view of all the world, duly observed, a blemish noted quickly in our doings." She wanted to avoid any imperfections that would make her look less than flawless, even if it meant risking her health. To maintain this image, Elizabeth forbade unflattering portraits of herself. Painters had to be creative, often depicting her with smooth, youthful skin, even though the reality was quite different. The famous Darnley portrait, painted in 1575, became the template for most depictions of her in the years that followed. As Elizabeth aged, she fought the signs of time fiercely, and one of her tricks was wearing a wig. For many years, no one officially acknowledged her use of wigs, but in 1599, the Earl of Essex publicly revealed the secret. He was shocked when he saw her mostly bald head, with only a thin ring of hair remaining. By the end of her life, Elizabeth's health was failing, and she refused to let doctors examine her. She fell into a deep depression, but continued standing for hours on end, refusing to rest, fearing that if she lay down, she would never rise again. Eventually, Elizabeth passed away on March 24, 1603. While her cause of death was likely cancer or pneumonia, there's a strong possibility that her decades of lead and mercury poisoning played a role. After her death, her body was so toxic that, according to some accounts, it caused her coffin to burst open at her wake, releasing noxious vapors. All of this story is sometimes dismissed as exaggerated. Exploding coffin syndrome has been documented in modern times as well.
One final tragic detail. Just a week before her death, Elizabeth's doctors had warned her about the dangers of wearing her coronation ring. The ring had started cutting into her skin, and they advised it be surgically removed, but before they could act, she passed away. Some believe that the ring may have caused blood poisoning, contributing to her demise. The use of lead in cosmetics dates back at least to ancient Rome, but by the 16th century, it was known as Venetian ceruse, the favorite makeup of Queen Elizabeth. Sadly, lead wasn't officially recognized as a poison until 1634, decades after Elizabeth's death. It's crazy to think that for centuries, women were unknowingly harming themselves in the name of beauty. In many ways, we still do the same today, risking our health for the sake of appearance.
So, what do you think of Queen Elizabeth's beauty regimen? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to check out some of our other videos on Invisible Historian.